want to take a look at this video one more time. This was the dramatic effect of the flooding in White Sulphur Springs, West Virginia. A burning home, you can see it just moving across the trees, washed off its foundation. Now we are in a state of emergency. Governor Tomlin issues a declaration covering Greenbrier and Nicholas counties. And this incredible video was shot by Paul Moya of the devastation brought on by the severe flooding. This isn't the only house fire and the only road almost being washed out or about to be washed out. We're covering major flooding all over the area. Good morning and thank you for waking up with us. It's Friday, June 24th. I'm Wayne Stafford. Kathleen Stone has the morning off. Severe weather has been affecting all of us in the two Virginias, bringing out the best in many. Now, before we get to those top stories, let's first get a check on our forecast with the latest on everything that's happening with meteorologist Catherine Thompson. All right, thanks, Catherine. And what we're talking about is a storm so big, it has local residents saying that they have never seen anything like it. Roads flooded left and right, debris coming on the road, and bridges shut off to the public. White Sulphur Springs is essentially impossible to reach. However, every fire department in the area is lending a hand to assist the town.
We fairly sent some manpower and one of our units over to assist the White Sulphur Fire Department along with Lewisburg with their boats and water rescue. And then the 901, which is our county emergency officer, he's over there with other resources.
With the roads flooded and making it difficult for people to travel on, businesses are seeing the brunt of it. Owners and employees are attempting to sweep out the water. Entranceways are blocked off by the flowing river that formed in front of their doors. But one business owner is making sure to stay open for the people.
Business-wise, is like only couple people coming. It's not for money, but I just stay open, so if somebody need really something like battery power and everything, so they can use for flashlight and
Now, due to the high water and flooding across the state, the West Virginia Emergency Operations Center has been activated. It was up and running throughout last night. That's because several counties have been impacted by the high water. The American Red Cross is assisting in hardest hit areas and responding to people displaced by the flooding. If you need assistance, you can call 1-800-RED-CROSS. Pouring rain, high winds, flooding, and emergency situations can occur at any moment, and first responders may not be accessible immediately. WVVA's Austin Davis lets you know how to be prepared. Now, some more local headlines. A verdict is reached in the Wyoming County murder trial. James Green was on trial for the shooting death of Ernie Klein. Green was arrested in August of 2014 after deputies were called to a property in McGraw's. It was there deputies say that they discovered Ernie Klein of Cooperston dead. Prosecuting attorney Mike Cochran tells us Green was found guilty of second-degree murder. A sentencing date has not been set. Bluefield Fire Department responded to a house fire on 4455 East Cumberland Road at 4 yesterday afternoon. When they arrived, the fire was fully involved. They had the fire put out in less than an hour. They are also working to determine the cause of the fire, and there were no injuries. In politics this morning, millions of immigrants who came to the U.S. illegally are waking up this morning wondering how they'll make a living or whether they'll be deported next year. The U.S. Supreme Court has deadlocked the President Obama's immigration plan, leaving it in place a lower court ruling deeming it unconstitutional. Tracy Potts is in Washington this morning with reaction fallout from the court's decision. And that was Tracy Potts reporting. But this issue will really come down to November's election, where Americans will decide if they really want to build that wall with Mexico and the direction of the U.S. Supreme Court. In other political headlines, Democrats decided to end their day-long sit-in protest on the House floor over gun control yesterday. The Democrats' protest over the lack of action on gun control lasted for more than 24 hours. Congressman John Lewis, who launched the sit-in Wednesday morning, said the fight was not over. He said lawmakers must come back to Washington on July 5th when Congress returns to session, more determined than ever. Senator Joe Manchin voted in favor of the Terrorist Firearms Prevention Act of 2016 yesterday. The piece of legislation led by Susan Collins will prevent terrorists from obtaining weapons while protecting Americans' rights in due process. Manchin said in a press release, quote, "As a lifetime hunter, sportsman, NRA member, and law-abiding gun owner, I will always fight to protect our Second Amendment and due process rights and against any government overreach and infringement. But I also fight to prevent radical Islamic terrorists from obtaining weapons," end quote. Well, coming up on WVVA this morning, Catherine Thompson will look at your forecast. Stay with us.